Good morning, everybody. Jack Leeson with StartupTrading.com. It is 9:07 here on the 28th, getting towards the end of the month here. And the title of the video is Regular Trading Hours versus the Globex Session Setups. So, I mean, they really do look like two different markets right now. And let me just go out here to the daily chart and actually just hide these drawings for the time being. So yesterday, the range in the Nasdaq was 1,000 points, and most of that was in the overnight session. So if you get rid of the extended session, the range is about a third of that. It's 323 points. So we had basically 2/3 of the range overnight, 1/3 of the range during the day, and that gives us a couple of different setups. If we're looking if you guys remember Friday, we closed the day in extension shorts, and those obviously completely blew through targets off the open of Monday, and then we have what is Friday's low to low as a potential extension. That's very close to what was the high of the day. It does look like there was some selling pressure at that level on the prior day, and then I'm going to just go ahead and switch back to my other draws. So we have that extension I'm paying attention to. The 50% is untested of that level, but you also had participation on the full halfway back short from Friday's high to low, and that really was the high of the prior day. And I would not be looking for any longs above that here today. If we rally above that level, I will just be sitting out on the long side of things. Maybe if there's a short setup, I'll look for it. And that's going to be my premium zone. So anything above that, I'm going to be itching to short. And then using the overnight lows of Monday to the RTH high, which was the high of the intraday, I would not look for today any more longs, or I'm sorry, any shorts below that level. So Perry was kind of talking about how the move's probably going to happen post these earnings announcements, and with that theory, this range here could trade multiple times until there's really some information from the leaders as to how this may affect their strategies moving forward. But definitely a market shocking event that we haven't seen in a very long time, considering how much money has been thrown at AI and AI investments, basically creating the largest increase in market cap at the fastest rate of speed we've ever seen with Nvidia, 600 million or something like that, which was wiped off yesterday. Incredible. But as we go into the day, those are really going to be the important levels of support and resistance for me, and really want to be kind of patient for those, depending on what we do at the open, just looking for either shorts above 21,430s or longs below 21,100, and that leaves a lot in the middle, and if I am start trading in the middle, I'm probably just gonna size down in the middle, and then maybe increase my size on the outer edges of this range if what so happens. But out of the lows yesterday, we had this setup here into 245. I just decided to not trade. I personally not a huge fan of gaps on Monday, so we had a divergence where the Nasdaq was making a new low, I believe, and the ES was not. Let me just go back to that. The ES was not making that new low at 245, and that was the halfway back long from the overnight session. We ripped higher. We broke the short setup in the overnight session. We traded a halfway back long. That halfway back long traded and completed profit targets, retesting our resistance and giving us an overnight high. Now we have that same traditional setup, so far morning support, and then actually out of the first test of it, we did hold this little micro halfway back long to targets, and then we had a news event which reversed us lower, and that's where we currently sit. But as we go into the day, you really want to just pay attention to those higher time frame support levels, and then any moves off of them. For example, we complete the long overnight and trade the short. After that, we roll over, we trade a halfway back short. Takes a little bit, but we finally, move lower. Even this long out of here, we trade the long. We have that, small halfway back long. We run that to target. So those are the moves you're going to want to be focusing on here today. We're probably gonna, we're gonna have a lot of volatility again. So you're gonna want to be careful. Even though yesterday was a 300-point range out of 1,000 in the intraday, the candles still seem, like the average range still pretty big. 50-point candles every other candle. It almost looks like, and some even bigger. 161-point candle off the open. So expect more volatility, and still be calm with your size. I would not be trading your normal typical size here because of the volatility, and wait for some of these bigger levels. I'd love to see a move up into the 21,476, kind of get above that prior day high and then roll over, or a move maybe down below 21,100 and then reverse higher. But we're just gonna have to wait and watch and see what the market's wanting to give us. And then if we look at the S&P 500, also just to point out what we came off of, the support level, guys, it's still that September 11th extension. So that is also, if maybe we get down there for a test eventually. But when that breaks, in the future, that would be probably a pretty big move lower. But we still are holding that September 11th anchor too high, and that's kind of what we came off the other day. And then if you look at the ES, this support level below, we're going to go back out here to the daily chart. That is also a big halfway back long from the lows of basically the year to high, and that's at 59.85, and that's going to be important moving forward. Any point in time we trade it until it breaks. So we've had this big rally out of the lows of January, basically back up to all-time highs, and then just cut in half in a single day. So what I'm looking for here in the ES, let me get rid of the extended session, is I am going to just be aware of that extension. And this is, I believe, the overnight high. So Friday's low to low, it's not the overnight high, is 60.60. Okay. The upside target of this sloppy traditional yesterday is the high. This halfway back from the open, we technically traded it like in a front run here, and then rent the targets, and then we just kind of retested and spent the whole day just sloppy on it. Nothing technical this long. When that target completed, actually it's an overnight draw here. When we actually confirmed we made a new high, and then the halfway back pullback from that level traded at the same time as the NASDAQ, and that target completed, and we've been selling off since then. So it does look like some sellers are here from the overnight session. We'll just see how we open. But right now with the ES, I don't really have anything super favorable outside of my premium discount levels, which I'll just probably be waiting on. One, the premium, the full halfway back short, 60.78 area, or the discount zone that I'm using is 60.25. I want to see us move to either edge of that and then look for a reversion trade. So if we move higher, look for a move lower after trading it. If we move lower, look for a move higher after trading it. So that's what I have. But I mean, outside of the indexes here, actually gold I think is probably one of the cleanest setups if we can get it to trade. We came out of a big old daily halfway back long yesterday, and overnight we traded this 50% retracement, basically tagged the 61, and we rallying out of it. If we can get a halfway back long, or when we get it from that overnight low to high, that's going to be a setup that I want to look for. I think this is just pretty clear. You have a higher time frame pullback of reaction, and then the next measured move on the smaller time frame. So that's something I'm going to be looking for here today, just side note outside the indexes. But I think the indexes are in a pretty just aggressively volatile range. I am not super biased to really either direction here. And I think we're going to have an opportunity to probably trade both sides, but you really just want to be looking for those very, very clear setups, which right now I don't really have a whole lot. I mean, this is, we've traded some moves to targets, and I'm just going to have to see what this first 30 minutes looks like. But with that being said, I'll share these levels with you guys in the room. Jump on the Discord, squawk, and we'll see what we do if we continue these longs out of the open and get up to those higher time frame resistance levels, or if we got more selling. So I'll talk to you guys in the Discord.